Hi everyone, welcome to this AOPEN Webcast. Thank you for joining. My name is Anthony Gerrits. Digital signage and kiosk projects are normally quite lengthy processes to get to actual rollout from the original idea. It can easily take 6 months up to 1.5 years before a project from the initial idea really starts with the deployment. So today we want to take you on a journey about how we as AOPEN can provide you with added value, and also about how the eTILE all-in-one touch range can help you with winning these projects. So first I'll be talking about the commercial side of things, then we'll look into a case study, after which Arco will be telling you more about the technical side of things regarding the eTILE portfolio. In the meantime, you will have the opportunity to ask questions through the Q&A button, and at the end of the webcast we'll be able to answer these questions. So as I mentioned, we want to discuss about how we can help you to increase your chances on winning projects. So to make it a bit more clear, I separated that into the different phases that probably you're familiar with when trying to win a project. So first we'll be looking into the sales phase, in which you're trying to convince your customer that your idea, your concept, your marketing strategy with all of the ingredients is going to be the right thing for that project. Then of course you get to an installation phase where the actual rollout, the actual deployment will take place. And then we'll look into the after-sales side of things, where we'll talk about things like guarantee, about support, and also about case studies. So quite often a request will start with an initial idea, with a marketing concept, with a new store design, something that you're looking into. In some cases your customer might be already quite experienced in this kind of a field, will know his bit about interactivity projects, but on a regular basis I guess you're going to be confronted with customers that are going to use consumer electronics for the same purpose. So in this part of the installation initial phase, in this part of the sales phase, it's going to be quite important that we're going to be educating the customer about the differences between commercial grade and also between consumer grade. Some customers may think that standard hardware that is actually for home use is going to be doing the trick, but actually those systems will not be robust enough, such as our eTILE portfolio, and will not have, for instance, IP65 front panels that are going to be more water resistant. Two terms that are often used in this initial phase, in the sales phase, are return on investment and total cost of ownership. I'm pretty confident that you will be familiar with these terms, but of course one key aspect in that is going to be the total cost. That's not just the cost of the unit that you're going to be purchasing, but it's also the cost in terms of the quality, in terms of the servicing and everything. At AOPEN we make sure that the commercial grade is indeed commercial grade, so that means that the quality is at a certain level. And that means that we have an RMA rate of below 1% on the average on all of the devices. Also there's an MTBF of 40,000 up to 50,000 hours, which means that a device can run for 4.5, even up to 5 years. So that of course all in all will reduce the total cost of ownership. And all of these features are available for the 15, the 19 and the 22 inch. At the same time we also offer an IP65 front panel, so that means it's industrial grade and it's quite easy to maintain and clean. Another point to educate your customer about is the fact that whatever can be broken by an end customer will be broken by an end customer. So that means that any loose cables that are hanging out underneath the screen, any power buttons, on-off buttons will be pushed by kids, etc. So what we've done with the eTILE range, also to make it more robust and durable, is that we make sure that there's cable management integrated with all of the different units. So that means that cables are tucked away behind the display and there are no visible cables hanging out. At the same time, we also make sure that there's a power button, a hidden power button, so that means that you need to use a paper clip or some kind of a pin to switch the device on and off. Of course, this is to prevent any, like I said, kids or end users from tampering with the device. And that, on its turn, will reduce the cost that you will have in terms of maintenance and service requests from your client. During your customer's decision phase, you will also need to gain trust, of course, from your client. That customer will need to trust you and also the solution that you're going to be providing, also in terms of hardware and in terms of software. So of course, that's going to be part of your own sales process, but on the backside, we can also help you with providing you with different case studies. For instance, over here, we have a couple of examples. Palma de Mallorca Aquarium is one project where our touch solutions were used and are still in use. We'll show you a little bit more about that in a video later on after my session. We integrated eTILEs in the car dealer kiosks at Opel, and here you see an example of where they were used in the super cheap auto stores. So for quite a few different applications, we will have case studies available that we can share together with you in the convincing process of your client. And that's not just about hardware, quite often also what software was used, what kind of application was used, is also highlighted in these case studies. During the initial discussion with your customer, you will often talk about what marketing concept, what shop design, what interactivity, what the functionality should be. It could even be about certain aspects such as analytics. Of course, that should be backed up by the hardware that you're going to be using, and that decision process can sometimes also be quite difficult and lengthy. There are quite some different variables to look into. So that means that at AOPEN we can help you with that process. We have a team of engineers, amongst which Arco, who can look into different configurations and how they can support your project. So that means the hardware and the software that you have in mind also is going to be tested with the content that is actually going to be used for that project. We'll test it with different configurations, different CPUs, for instance, different memory, and we'll give you a recommendation of what we think would be most suitable, not just for now, but also in the future, to make sure that it's future-proof. So we can give you some technical feedback on the backside of that as well, and that will be our FAE support team. Of course, in the end, it's going to be your decision, but probably it will make the decision process quite a bit easier and smoother. Somewhere during the project decision phase, there will also be a request for, probably from you or from your customer as well, to verify the hardware quality or to do a demonstration on site. So to support that process, we have a loan order kind of procedure, and that means that on all of the eTILEs and also on other models, in cooperation with you, also depending on the project, we'll be able to give you sample support. And that means that we'll be able to provide you with a loan unit that can be put into the field for, let's say, up to 30 days. And with that kind of a device and with this kind of a setup, you'll be able to show the difference between consumer grade and commercial grade that we can provide. After your preparation, of course, we want to move into the next phase, which will be the installation phase. So before and also during that process, you want to make sure that your solution, the one that you propose, is 100% fit for purpose. And fit for purpose is, like we said, you pre-test it, but also in terms of the compatibility with software and operating system. The operating system, you can use, of course, your standard home or pro edition of your operating system for Windows, for instance, but actually we recommend to use embedded images as well, so an embedded version of your operating system. And the reason to do that is to reduce certain aspects that you don't need in your operating system, such as pop-up messages that will occur, power management, and also you want to make sure that all of the necessary drivers are installed. So what we do at AOPEN, for every eTILE model and also for the digital engine models, we've created so-called standard embedded images according to the Microsoft guidelines. So it means that already that work has been done in advance for all of the standard configurations. If needed, we can also create an image for you for the specific project, and the other possibility is that you would create the image yourself if you would have the capabilities in-house. So if you do that, then we'll be able to preload that image onto the device, onto, for instance, this kind of an eTILE, and that means you'll have the same operating system, the same software, and also the same hardware to be deployed throughout all of the different sites of your project. And that means you'll have a uniform hardware pool with all of the same configurations. When starting your deployment of your project, of course you want to make sure that you answer the questions that your customer might have. And those questions can range from all different sort of topics, of course, such as compatibility questions, software questions, questions related to the operating system. And part of that support will be given by yourselves, but also if required, we can give you some technical feedback on the side as well. We don't work with any bureaucratic kind of support system. We have people that are available either by phone or by email, and they will be able to help you and guide you through the technical process. So that means that it's going to be a more convincing process and a more smooth process for your end customer as well. When everything's ready, you'll get, of course, to the next stage of the installation phase, and that means the actual deployment. You need to plan your crew, installation crew. Either you have that yourself or you have an installation partner that's going to be doing that for you. You need to plan these people out in the field. They need to be at a certain site at a certain time. Shop owners or restaurant owners need to be pre-informed about the fact that an installation is going to be taking place. Of course, it's very important in this stage that you're going to be having your eTILE equipment at the right time, at the right place. So what we can do in coordination with you and also the end customer is that we make sure that we pre-produce the right number of batches. If it's, for instance, a customized model, standard models are already in stock, and we work with a distribution model. And that distribution model means that we have a network of distributors throughout the world, and also in Europe. In almost every country we have a distribution network, and that means that they keep stock already of the standard configurations. If it's a customized one, like I said, we can pre-produce it, but also they will be able to keep that in stock and also to keep certain batches in call-off stock. So that means that you will always be ensured that the right products are there at the right time. As an add-on, we also have different mounting solutions and also foot stands, as you can see here. So of course these will fit all of the different eTILE models. So that means that you have one location, one partner to be working with, also to have wall mounts or foot stands. In many projects there will be initial phase, so that means the proof of concept, the sample phase, could be pilot installation as well, and there will be also a mass rollout phase. Of course that can be in one go, but quite often it happens that this takes place over a period of 6 to 12 months. Or there's a mass rollout and afterwards there are going to be new store openings or new restaurant openings or new sites within an airport, for instance, that are going to be requiring exactly the same thing. The last thing that you want to be doing is, of course, create a new model in that same project. So to have a different configuration, you want to be keeping the same kind of a thing. That means that you wouldn't be needing to change Windows images, and at the same time your customer is going to be having the same hardware on all of the different sites. To ensure that you can have that kind of a thing, we use embedded components. So that means that all of our models will be available for at least 2 years, and that can be extended up to 5 years. So every eTILE will be, from the introduction date, available for at least 2 years. Then, at the same time, we do that for the warranty system as well. So the warranty also has the same kind of a guideline, which means a standard of 2 years, but it can be extended up to 5 years. Normally we don't work with a replacement for a credit or for a similar configuration. We make sure that the same components are kept in stock for spare parts so that we can ensure that if a defect would be coming in, which of course hopefully is very unlikely, but then we can replace it with the same kind of components. And that means that you are having the same, like I said before, uniform hardware pool with all of your clients throughout the duration of the whole project. Then phase 3 after the installation. That means the phase in which your deployment has been taking place. Then of course in this stage we'll still be working with you in terms of the warranty or in terms of any servers or technical questions. But there's more that we can do also after the fact that the deployment took place. And that means also to generate new leads for future projects. After the installation, we can also work on doing something more, and that is to write case studies together with you. Of course, first that needs to be confirmed by yourselves and also by the end client who's actually having that project in place. But it means that we can write case studies together with you, or you can write it together with our marketing department. And in the end, those case studies can be shared through the different marketing channels that we use, such as emailings and also press releases. This is one way. The other thing is that we have media partners, such as AV Magazine, Screen Media, Invidis Germany, and also they quite often take our case studies and then publish them. Like I said before Arco will also take care of the technical session. We'll look into one of these case studies, which is the touch solutions from AOPEN that were used in the Palma de Mallorca aquarium.
days ago, we went to the trade fair of digital signage, and we met AOPEN, and then we started to check another options, and we started with developing all these projects, and finally we could organize it. Because before, all the systems that we had, it was really rudimentary. It was one screen and one hardware, and it was not monitored and it was not in net, so it was very difficult to work with. Finally, we chose the option of AOPEN, and we got 44 units of the model WT22. There were many reasons to decide for this option, but we have to highlight the following ones. 24/7 operational, is a all-in-one equipment, and then is interactive, and the most important for us, it was the fact that it was really aesthetic and it was quiet. Benefits for Palm Aquarium in choosing AOPEN option, it was that was a turnkey project. The integrator company Plexus made us the life so easy. They were in charge of everything: configuration, monitoring, and checking. It was great to have them with us. This new tool provides a new and good experience for the visitors. That means that you can check, you can see exactly what you have in the tanks. If we have to change any information, if we got to update because there's new species in the tank or something, it's really easy for us, for Palm Aquarium internal, to update it. And what is really important for us is that it's very aesthetic and it fits very well in our premises. The touchscreen invites the customer to be touched, okay? And it's really easy for kids and for adults or even seniors. It has an interface that makes everything so easy. In the near future, we are planning, or we are evaluating the option of integrate these sort of tools in the kids area in the playground. The idea is to put like the screens like in low measure, in order the kids to be able to play with games, interactive games, and also add information, educational information. Another option, it will be the internal circuit of digital signage, where to advertise all our products. We got lots of things to offer to our clients. So it will be a perfect window to show all the range of things that we offer as events, as the retail shop, or maybe the gastronomic offer that we got at the aquarium.
Yeah, Anthony, thank you for your commercial talk. Now we're getting into the interesting stuff. As Anthony already mentioned, I am Arco de Vos. I'm a field application engineer and sort of manager as well. That's second. Welcome to my technical deep dive into the eTILE series. And we've got 4 eTILE series. We'll be highlighting 2 of them today. So we've got the FB series and the FW series. The FB series are based on a bait trail SOC. And because the SOC doesn't require that much power, they will be passively cooled as well. The FW series are based on a Broadwell CPU. These require a bit more power though, so they have a fan. While we progress into this deep dive, we will be opening the eTILEs to show you a couple of things. Both series, FW and FB, have 3 models basically. So we've got the 22-inch, we've got the 19-inch, and we've got the 15-inch. The 22 and the 15 are both full HD. The 19-inch is HD ready. Let's go into him. So this is the 15FB, so the passively cooled system. Let's open that one up. Of course, we prepped it a little bit already, because there are a lot of screws on the backside to make everything secure. Voila. So what you see here are the internals of the 15FB. As you can see, it's passively cooled with a heat pipe. There's some heat paste on this. So the backside of the eTILE will act as a heatsink as well. Here you have the memory, the mSATA SSD. Here are the COM ports, which are actually RJ50 ports. The voltage of these ports can be altered. On the back side of the panel, there's a schematic how to set the jumpers for the voltage. A lot of POS systems use voltages on the RS-232 ports, hence this feature. The I/O ports, there are a couple of punch-out holes for wireless antennas. We've got headphones, microphone. We've got RJ45 for network, and HDMI out, so you can attach a second screen. We've got a couple of USB ports, and finally the power inlet. So as you can see, no fan at all, totally fanless. We do have the punch-out holes, but there are already two wireless antennas inside the unit. Now let's put this on this stand and move on to the 22-inch. So here you see the 22FW. As you can see, all the systems, they look absolutely the same. So on the outside, you will not be able to see whether this will be the FW or the FB or the FI or whatever other model for that matter. Let's open this one up. Just like the 15-inch, we sort of prepared this one as well, just to save a little bit of time. This also has some cable management. So there are a couple of little clips on which you can tie wrap your cables, and then when everything is neatly tucked away, you can assemble the cover again and everything is secured in its place. Now let's remove the back cover. Two little screws. Well, here you see a lot more going on. This is the CPU, which is cooled with a fan and a heat pipe. And we've got the same mSATA SSD, some memory, the same RS-232 module for the RJ50 ports. Here we've got some extra USB ports, just because we can. This one has a couple of speakers internally, also the Wi-Fi antennas, the I/O board for the power button, then go into the I/O ports on the back. This is the outlet for the fan. We've got a power supply, a couple of USB ports, again an HDMI out for a second screen, RJ45 for network, we've got microphone, headphone, a couple of punch-out holes for the wireless antennas, the RJ50 ports, and some more USB ports. In addition to the FB, this model also has the M.2 SATA slot, and you can install a 2.5-inch hard drive which you can connect to the SATA port. Mind you, the bracket is optional, so by default it is not installed. That's basically all there is to say about the FW. Let's put this one on the stand, back on the stand, and move on to the 19-inch. This is the 19-inch FB. On the outside you will not be able to see which model it is. The FW, the FB, the FI, they will all look the same. The only thing that's obvious, it's the 19-inch. This is the FB. The interior is basically the same as the 15-inch, so we'll keep this one closed and show you a couple of features instead. All eTILEs are equipped with APAR, which is a BIOS setting, which stands for automatic power after recovery. So if these hang in a store and power is cut every night to shut down all the systems, and in the morning they power up everything again, this one will start automatically. Just to show you how that works, I've got the power supply here, and hook it up, and it should start up. Well, voila. There are a couple of more settings in the BIOS, which we'll show you now as well. So let's go into the BIOS and see what settings we have there. Here we've got the RTC wake settings. So suppose the power on fails for some reason, you can always set in the BIOS on which time the system should wake. Mind you, it will wake every day on the same setting. Here we've got the APAR setting, so restore AC power loss. By default it's set on power on. Now if for some reason everything fails, we still have the power button, which is tucked away, just like Anthony mentioned. Just get a good old paper clip, bend it a little bit. Now you will be able to shut down or power up the system with the paperclip. Now to make things a little bit more exciting, I'll just power up the unit, go into the BIOS, so we have a little bit of screen. And let's show you what we mean by IP65. Let's get some water in there. So the entire front panel is IP65, meaning no water will get in from the front. Well, in the process of showing you IP65, I might have wrecked the 15-inch because that was open and there's a lot of spray in there. We'll put it on the stove and it'll be okay. I want to thank you for all your attention. If you still have some questions, please fill them in the Q&A. And Anthony will join me soon, I think. Yeah? Then we'll answer your questions and we'll go from there.